when I was 12 years boy, I joined for the monkhood. When I was 29 years old, then I came to Malaysia. My first visit 1981. Then 93 I came for the loan period. From that day onward until now, I'm in Malaysia. Nearly 40 over years been in Malaysia. And also there's involved for the simple Buddhist activities in the Sentul Temple. Not many people know that period Sentul Temple is a hidden place, as well as for not that active. After late one of the chief priests passed away, inactive the organization. Then later slowly we able to have a simple activities, Sunday school and the youth and other activities. Then where the people start to come in very small scale. Many other Buddhist societies come to know Sentul Temple. Then again, many of them are involved for the certain Buddhist activities. My priority always, wherever the Buddhist activities there, whether Theravada or Mahayana or Vajrayana, immaterial, as long as Buddhist activities are there, where if they are little help I can do it, I'm a great joy to do it. Of course, in the Malaysian, multi-ethnic group and multi-religious group as well, compared to many other parts of the world, still Malaysia is a very peaceful place. Be able to practice the teaching of the Buddha without any disturbance. When we go to the certain country, either Mahayana alone or Theravada or Vajrayana. But Malaysia, uniqueness of Malaysia, you can see it, Mahayana Buddhist organization and centers, big temples. We can see the Theravada temple and the societies. We can see the Vajrayana temple and society. And the beauty of Malaysia, we are always very harmonized. That's where you can see each and every temple, societies, when they have major activities, the 3 schools participating for all the activities. That's a different, and that's a beauty. That's the spirit in Malaysian Buddhist. That's a great contribution. That's a great message to the part of rest of the other world as well. Earlier we registered Sri Jayanti Welfare Organization for the welfare arm to continue some charity activities. The later part, the group of people want to have Buddhist activities, some certain Buddhist activities as well, the other part of the places. And then we set up the Mahakana Buddhist Society. The Mahakana Buddhist Society active for the charity activities as well as some certain Buddhist activities. But we don't have any permanent place, and the people are given the places people to practice certain things. We never had the for the dream to build the temple. Then we apply earlier in the Siti Alam area, but just for the application, we not really go all out for getting the land. Then this particular place, Sandabi, actually I had to mention Mr. Apollo, he is the one request, are you interested to have it, there's a religious land. Eventually they able to grant it for this place for the Mahakana Buddhist Society. Then we able to build this particular monastery. In fact, we want to do something for the, rather than very traditional or rather than very too modern, in between. That's where even the architect, before we design, we get some certain drawing, the Buddhist architect, how the Buddhist, the centers, Buddhist vihara, architectural design, especially for to the Thai, Burmese and Sri Lankan, and also Chinese and other countries. We thought we do it something in between, not too ancient, not too traditional, based on the Buddhist architectural, the qualities, That's where I combine into these two, into that. That's where they come up on all the various places where we'll, even the Buddha image for the China, they call white jade, and also certain carving, we can see that one from Sri Lanka, this door from Sri Lanka, There you can see relics room and Tupa room, all from the wood carving from Sri Lanka. A combination for the local and Sri Lankan and other Buddhist countries architectural the view. You know, you can see it all, little combination there. I mean, of course, the Buddhist center supposed to do is the Buddhist educational things and the spiritual activities. This is the traditional Buddhist organization objective. But our case, we are normally combined for the certain activities, welfare activities, charity activities, social activities. Some of them may interest for the welfare charity activities. If we cater all wherever the area there, then the people get interest. They eventually go into the other practices as well, such as children, youth, and even the spiritual path, knowledge program, etc. thing. Especially for the Buddhist society, for the universities and school Buddhist club, where these had the limited fund they having, and they cannot go outside places to rent the hotel or any community center. Then let them to use it and get their interest into the Buddhist practices. Of course, each and every one of us, there's a time to the study period. They are enrolling for the studies. The later part, they try to develop their career, find the job, their career, or either business involvement. And throughout the period, we can see it in between all those areas. If they have a little free time, is require mental strength. Of course, social engagement, social upkeep is important. Physically to be stronger also important, and the equally important mental strength, which is, I think, the religious organization is a key. The important role can play, to develop that spiritual part to be the stronger. You can get the proper education. You may knowledgeable for the degree. You may knowledgeable certain subject. Only the subject knowledge. You are not overall everything you know one. Subject knowledge alone is not sufficient. That knowledge, we have to wisdom to develop. Wisdom through your own practices. That is important each and every human being. Not only here and hereafter. The wisdom we can able to take it. Practices we able to take along wherever we go. The mental cultivation, purification, oneself mind, that's the greatest blessing.